Hello, friends. I'm Alicia Nodeman, author of the book Don't Be a Stranger and Don't Be a Stranger to Grief. I wanted to do a video today on the topic of one of my favorite and most meaningful tips in business ever since I started my Rodan & Fields business world in the skin and hair care industry. And that lesson that I try to impart on my teams, but also try to live every single day, is show up. Just show up. Show up for yourself, show up for others, show up for your customers, show up for your friends, show up for your life, show up for your commitments, show up for what matters. And by the way, don't be fickle about what matters, because sometimes we can say, oh, well, that mattered yesterday and today I changed my mind. That doesn't seem very value oriented. So it's interesting because when I thought about the topic of this video, I'll often get daunted because I think to myself, oh, let me compare myself to other, video makers, influencers, YouTubers, or what have you. And I am so different. I'm clumsy. I'm unpolished. I don't care about lighting. I don't understand lighting. I don't really want to spend hundreds and thousands of hours figuring out how to do it all perfectly. And frankly, even if I did, I would be taking away from just living life and doing business in ways that have worked well enough for me. So that said, I thought I would just do a clumsy video and let that be good enough. And so here I am doing that for you. And I hope that somebody watching this will hear a message that they resonate with and think, you know what? Yes, let me show up even if it's showing up a little clumsy. Like if it's that or nothing, then I'll choose clumsy every single time. So I took some notes because I don't want to forget and I want to stay pretty streamlined to just the topic so that I can keep this video relatively short. So what do I mean by clumsy? Like I said, the lighting's off, positioning might be bad, my background's not super impressive. Like I don't care if I'm wearing the same shirt in 5 videos in a row. Like some influencers, they'll teach that, do 5 different videos in the same day and change your shirt and maybe go sit in a different area of your home. I don't have the time or patience or interest in that, frankly. Like I'd rather do other things. So I'll just record a bunch of videos at the same time, sitting in the same place. And even if it's not perfect, I will just plop it up there and hope that it attracts somebody that needed to hear the message, that it's really the content of the video and not necessarily the aesthetics. And I say that while also certainly valuing and admiring those who take the time to really provide that polished finish to things. So I am in no way denigrating the value in putting in the attention to those things. It's just we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And in my business, I choose to make sure that the things that I invest myself into give life rather than take life. And I'm talking about breathing energy into things. So a lot of times, so for example, if my phone falls, there's so many Facebook videos I've done where like my phone fell and I'm like, whoops, and I pick it back up and keep talking. Because I'm like, I'm already 3-4 minutes invested into this video. I'm not starting over. Now, if it's in the first 30 seconds, sure. But you know what? Even those clumsy videos, they get comments, they get engagement, they get people reaching out to me and being like, you are just so cute. Those are my people. It's the ones who are not looking at me thinking, oh my gosh, can you believe she didn't start that video again? Can you believe, like, I'm not interested in that energy in my world. And if the people watching are there to criticize, then they're not the people that I want to do my life with anyway, right? I don't welcome that business. I don't need that connection. I want to surround myself with people who see the best in others and at least who care to want to, right? And who are investing themselves in building that muscle. There's enough negativity in the world and I choose not to be a part of it. So there's a quote, and I don't know who quoted it, so I apologize, but the gist of it is that the people that are often criticizing you are the people that are typically doing less than you, that the person doing more than you is not going to generally be the one criticizing you. So notice that, right? Who am I concerned about? Who are the people judging and passing judgment and criticizing? It's typically the person not doing the thing. And so someone said recently in my life who I really respect, if I wouldn't want your opinion, if I wouldn't come to you for your opinion, then I'm not going to respect your judgment, or something to that effect. It was a really powerful message about being very careful who we give power to when it comes to how we feel about ourselves. I know for me, I am so proud. So back to the concept of showing up. I am so proud when my team members do anything at all, whether they go talk to the stranger next to them at the coffee shop, scared as can be, awkward as can be. Even if they forget to connect with the person so that they can reach back out to them, it's okay. The courage it took them to start that conversation, I admire. I'm so proud of my team when they go live on social media. I'm so proud of them when they post anything and everything about their business on social media, or simply post in general. But specifically, I know about the fears of other people's judgment that creeps in when we post online. And like, online is a platform to what feels like the universe. So now we feel like we have all these eyes on us. And so I know the fears that they've had to overcome to show up, right? In social media, in their worlds, in the lives of others, with strangers. I had the most wonderful conversations sitting at breakfast this morning. And I hope that those conversations will carry on into years of friendship that can be cultivated, even across lines these days with virtual connections. It doesn't even matter if the person's in the same state. And the courage it takes to start those conversations is really admirable. So remember to ask yourself, when you are watching content, when you see your friends posting, or when you're thinking about posting yourself, or you're thinking about doing that thing you're scared of, or you're thinking about starting that conversation with someone, are you looking at yourself or watching others to judge or uplift? I choose to uplift by showing up imperfect. So showing up for others, meaning your team members, meaning people at work, accountability partners. If you say you're going to be there for someone, are you actually showing up? Are you showing up? Are you reaching out to them? Are you checking in? Are you really boosting each other up? To see what I mean? Clumsy. Any other social influencer would be like, oh, let me stop the video right here. Let me start over. I goofed. I'm like, you'll get the gist. I hope you'll get the gist. And if you get the gist and you're giggling and you're like, that's my girl, keep going, you're my tribe, right? You're my tribe. So show up and honor your word. That's you showing up for yourself. Again, if you committed to something, whether it's a trip to Tahiti one day, whether it's a commitment to volunteering for a cause, whether it's a commitment to yourself in business, whether it's a commitment to a friend, or to taking yourself out on a date night, show up. I cannot tell you how often I watch people, especially like in just our business world, let their commitment to themselves and their business be the first thing they take off the table when something else pops up that's important. Whether it's a work commitment, whether it's something better or more fun or less scary, their business commitment, their time that they set aside for business development, the time they might have set aside to do connections in their business or social media marketing, for example, is the first thing off the table. My friends, if you worked that way for your job in the corporate world, how long do you think you'd be able to keep that job? A boss would not keep you around, right? You don't get paid for work you don't do. It is no different in the business world. And the way you treat your business, to me, kind of is intimately tied to self-worth, right? It's me saying, I don't believe I am worthy of the time that I need to commit to this and the obstacles that I've got to overcome to see this through. I love this quote by one of our partners in the Rodan and Fields world, Gabriel Sedlak. He wrote a book called Cut It Out. And he has a quote in there, and again, I'm going to kind of paraphrase, where he says, work as hard or harder for yourself as you would for a boss that likely sees you as expendable. And that is a powerful message, because truly anywhere we work, in a corporate setting, in a, outside of ourselves work setting, we could be let go at any given point in time. It happens all around the world every single day, right? And yet we will bust our butts. We will lose sleep. We will lose friendships. We will have zero work-life balance for years and years and years working for that person who, quite frankly, if we lost our job, they'd replace us for, within usually hours or days. And yet when it comes to ourselves honoring our commitments, it's the first thing to go. So that's one thing you'll see in my world. If you know me, if I make a commitment to myself to show up for my business, whether it's setting aside time every Friday or every Monday or whatever it is for our team meetings or for my reach outs or whatever it is, I will prioritize that even if nobody else shows up to do it with me, right? Whether I'm with anyone or whether I'm by myself, that time is sacred. It is time that I promise to show up for me in my business. And it's not 40 hours a week. It doesn't need to be, right? If it's 3 hours, then that 3 hours is sacred. If it's 8 hours, then that 8 hours is sacred. If it's an event that I really don't want to go to, it's still sacred, and I will make myself at least show up. And then I might leave early. That's okay, because I get to ask myself when I'm there, how does this feel? How does this feel? Now, fear is not a reason to leave. this feels yucky. Now that might be, right? And so sometimes I will ask myself, do I feel like my best self here? Do I feel like this place can grow me? Do I feel like this environment is a healthy one where I can come out of it really proud of having been here, proud of however I showed up? Am I meeting people that I feel can challenge me to level up? Or am I around a bunch of people that I don't really feel good about, where the conversations don't really feel reciprocal or what have you? And it's okay to discern that. I just encourage us all to stay out of judgment. It's not about those people, that person. It's how do I feel in this setting? And differentiating again between fear and ick. That's the best way I can say that. Again, clumsy and unpolished. This is what you get with me, right? That's how I talk. Do I feel good? Am I scared? In which case I'm going to push through the fear and challenge myself to rise above it. Or do I feel ick? And when I feel ick, I politely excuse myself. So these are the ways that that's, by the way, another way of showing up for yourself, honoring yourself. Okay, I honored my commitment. I showed up. I was here long enough to know this is not my space. This does not feel like my people or my tribe. And it's also okay now to step away. And I can do that and still detach with love and grace and wish everybody here well. And I'll just remember next time, okay, maybe this is not the best place that I want to commit my time and space, right? So I hope that makes sense as to the different ways that I'm encouraging us all to really just show up. So with that, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day, and thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me. Bye.